So one of the ways to tell that you are listening in a conversation is to be present in that moment. It is to slow down your brain, especially if you have ADHD.
Yeah.
To slow down that brain process. Your brain is operating, moving at 100 miles an hour. But one of the ways that we really listen is to slow that down so that we can be intentionally present in the conversation. And when we are intentionally present in the conversation, we are attempting to hear and to learn, like, why are we here? What's the problem? All right. But if you are formulating your response while the other person is talking, if you are coming up with your defense as to why you did this and why you did that, you are not listening in that moment. You are not intentionally present in the conversation. And so the goal here, when we talk about this one, is to really listen to learn, sometimes you'll help people. I've had spouses tell me, but I tried that and am I supposed to just let them just, and I'll tell them, yes, you are. As long as they're not being physically, emotionally abusive to you, but if they're going, that's because they have a whole lot pent up that they've not talked about. They've not shared. So let them do that. Let them do that until you see them take that natural breath until they start blinking again. Because now you know that the cortisol, the stress hormone in their brain, is starting to recede to its normal levels. You know that now they're moving from here back to here. And you wait until they complete their train of thought. And you ask, okay, can I respond? And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, no, I'm not finished yet. And that's okay too, because then they're going, and then you wait until you see that response to where their shoulders drop.
That's hard.
I know it is. But when you love and you care about them, you love and you care about them, it shows them that you're there. It shows them that you're listening to them. It shows them that you're trying to understand where they're coming from. And I'm telling you right now, that's probably the biggest thing that you can do to reduce out of control, unhealthy fighting, is to show the person that you're trying to understand them. Doesn't mean that you are. It doesn't mean that you're going to walk away completely enlightened by what triggers them and what ticks them off. It doesn't mean that. But at least you're showing them that you're trying.
At its core, that's called containment. I mean, you're listening and containing what they say. And containment is, sometimes we underestimate the power of that relational nutrient, but it is a powerful relationship builder, because it essentially, when somebody is emotionally out of whack and they start spilling over and, basically vomiting words onto you, if you're able to just sit there and listen, a lot of times, that big helium balloon just kind of shrinks. Their emotion comes down, and like you said, they take that breath, and they're able to actually have a good conversation with you. Afterwards, and sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard because that emotion within them makes them, that fight or flight makes them fight and say things that, are offensive, and it brings up our defenses, and it's hard. But if we can learn to contain and just listen, as you mentioned, it is a powerful relational nutrient.
I tell people you have to know what you're fighting for.
Yeah.
It's not about who you're fighting with as much as it is what you're fighting for. And what I mean by that is when you focus on what the fight is about, because you think about this, you love and you care about this person, you have respect for this person, you consider them to be a friend, a colleague. And so your goal, again, is not to hurt them. It's not to be nasty, mean, and cruel to them. It's not the goal.
Yeah.
You care about them. It's their behavior. That's the problem. And so we attack the behavior, not the person. So when you have that toxic dump that you talked about, just sort of, it's got to come out somewhere. It does. It's got to come out. And so if you can learn to understand that the fight is not with them. The problem is not with them, I should say. The problem is with the behavior. Then you're able to separate those. You're able to separate those and say, okay, the behavior is what I'm having a problem with, but I love and I care about this person. If you can keep that to the forefront of your mind, then you can listen to them sort of, and this is where we say, it's sort of hard to say, don't take it personal when, your name is coming out of their mouth, like, every other word.
It takes a really mature person.
And it takes practice. It takes practice is what it takes. It takes practice. You have to work at this until you learn to master it is what you have to do. And so even when patients come in to see me, and they're upset with me or somebody in the office, I'll let them go is what I'll do. I have to keep in mind that, okay, you know what? This is not about me as much as it is about the behavior is what it is, something that has triggered them and caused them to spiral. And so I'll let them decompress is what I call it. And then I'll ask, okay, can I respond to that now? Even when I'm fighting with my wife and we get into one of those situations, it's okay. So can I respond to that? And after I have permission to respond to that, I'm not going to defend myself. That's not going to do a lot of good. All right. That's not going to do a lot of good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to let her know that I understand where she's coming from. And I want to try to help the situation as much as possible. So you tell me what needs to happen. Is what you do. All right. And you use the word, a lot of maturity. It takes practice. It takes practice. Maturity. I'm not there yet either myself. So I'm going to say it takes practice is what it takes.
Yeah.
It takes practice.
It does take practice. So you're number 10 here. Your last point, and then we're going to kind of bring it all together. But your number 10 says that be proportional in intensity, and you mentioned not every conflict has to be World War III. What does that mean?
Yeah. Not every fight that we have has to be an earth-shattering event. All right. Mm-hmm. Just because you have a right to be mad, don't mean you have to be mad. The Bible tells us to be ye angry and sin not. So it's okay to be angry, but it ain't okay to yell, scream, throw stuff, break things, or put your hands on people. That is not okay. And I'll take it a step further. It's not okay to character assassinate either. It's not okay to do that. You have a right to be angry, but you don't have a right to be mean and nasty about it. So when we talk about being proportional in your intensity, there are some things you have a right to be angry about, but that doesn't mean you have to be angry about it. You have to pick and choose. As me and my wife today, we have a new thing. I don't know where it came from, but we will ask each other, is this the hill that you want to die on today? We're riding down the car, we get into a fight, an argument, and then one of us will look up and say, is this the hill you want to die on today? Is this where you want to plant your flag? And I know when I get that, I often go, no, this is not the hill I want to die on today.
Let it go.
This is not it. I'll live to fight another day. This is not it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So to just recap the 10 steps that you or principles that you initiated were, number 1, take it private and keep it private. Number 2, keep it real. Number 3, keep it relevant. Number 4, avoid character assassination. Number 5, remain task-oriented. Number 6, allow retreat with dignity. Number 7, give a face-saving way out. And number 8, set a time limit on fighting. Number 9 was listen to understand and not respond. And then number 10, be proportional in leadership.